Hannibal was still in Italy. That single fact should have been enough to end Rome. For years the Republic had lived with a nightmare inside its borders. A commander who had shattered Roman armies and kept Italy under constant threat. Even when Hannibal wasn't winning every battle anymore, his presence still forced Rome to spend men, money, and attention just to survive. By 207 BC, the war had become a brutal stalemate. Hannibal had not taken Rome. Rome had not driven Hannibal out. Then Carthage attempted the one plan that could break the balance, in a single stroke unite two armies in Italy. Hannibal already had one. All he needed was the other. That other army belonged to his brother Hasdrúbal, and Hasdrúbal wasn't coming with a small reinforcement force. He was bringing a second major Carthaginian army. Enough men to turn Hannibal's long campaign from endurance into victory. If the brothers met, Rome might not survive. That is why the Metauro matters. It is not just another battlefield. It is the moment Rome confronts the war's worst possibility, two Carthaginian armies becoming one. A pincer closing on the Republic's heart. A decisive momentum swing Rome might never recover from. The strategic picture was horrifyingly simple. Hannibal remained in the south, still dangerous and capable of punishing any weakness. Hasdrúbal marched from the north, trying to link up with his brother. Rome was caught between two fires. One already burning, one about to ignite. This is how states break, not because they lose courage, but because they cannot be in two places at once. Rome's options were all bad. Send everything north and Hannibal could strike in the south. Hold Hannibal down and Hasdrúbal might reach him. There was no safe choice. There was only a gamble. Hasdrúbal understood what he needed: connection, timing, coordination. Two armies that don't coordinate are two problems. Two armies that coordinate become one catastrophe. And this is where the hidden main character appears: communication. The brothers needed messages to survive the journey across hostile territory filled with Roman patrols and allies. Hannibal needed to know where to meet. Hasdrúbal needed to know where Hannibal stood. The entire Carthaginian plan depended on information reaching its destination. Rome's plan depended on denying that connection. Rome had one advantage Carthage could not easily copy: interior control. Roads, allies' scouts, and the ability to intercept messengers and slow the enemy without needing to win instantly. If Hasdrúbal slowed down, if he became uncertain, Rome gained time, and time allows concentration. Concentrated force is how Rome survived disaster after disaster. That is why Metauro is remembered as the battle that saved Rome. Because Rome did not win by one heroic clash alone. It won by acting like a system, moving resources faster than the enemy expected, taking calculated risk, and choosing the decisive point of the war. The decisive point was not Hannibal in the south. It was Hasdrúbal's army in the north. Destroy it, and Hannibal remains alone. Fail, and Hannibal becomes unstoppable. So Rome chose interception. It kept Hannibal contained while racing north to crush Hasdrúbal before reunion could happen. To do that, Rome needed a maneuver both fast and hidden, because if Hannibal saw weakness in the south, he could strike immediately. To save Rome, the Republic had to accept risk on purpose. Hannibal was still in the south, still capable of striking hard if he sensed weakness. If Rome stripped the southern front too much, Hannibal could surge and punish the gap. So Rome needed a maneuver that did two things at once: reinforce the north enough to destroy Hasdrúbal, and keep Hannibal believing the south was still guarded at full strength. That meant deception. The southern Roman forces had to maintain the appearance of stability. Camp routine, patrol rhythm, visible presence, so Hannibal wouldn't immediately realize Rome was shifting strength. Meanwhile, a portion of Rome's force moved north in a hard march, pushing endurance, traveling light, and trying to arrive before Hasdrúbal could slip away. Speed created surprise. Hasdrúbal expected to face one Roman army. He was not expecting two Roman commands behaving like one. But Hasdrúbal's mission depended on connection messages to Hannibal, a planned rendezvous, and timing. In hostile territory, messengers are vulnerable. A captured message can ruin a campaign. A lost messenger can delay movement, and delay can be fatal. That delay is what Rome wanted. Rome didn't need to block every mile of Hasdrúbal's route. It only needed to slow him enough for concentration to form. And once Hasdrúbal began sensing the Roman force was larger than expected, escape wasn't simple. Retreat in hostile territory is dangerous. Rivers restrict routes, Roman forces shadow and harass, and Hasdrúbal was on a clock. Every day lost made reunion less likely. So the trap tightened. Hannibal remained dangerous but temporarily contained. Rome gambled by shifting strength north. In the north, Hasdrúbal faced a Roman force deeper and steadier than he expected. The war now hinged on one question: could Rome destroy Hasdrúbal before he escaped and reached Hannibal? The decisive battle did not feel like a normal battle. It felt like a deadline. Hasdrúbal fought for connection, for the chance to reach Hannibal and make two threats become one catastrophe. Rome fought to erase that possibility forever. Geography mattered. Rivers constrained movement and retreat routes, creating choke points and limiting clean disengagement. Hasdrúbal was in enemy territory under Roman pressure, with terrain that could trap withdrawal. Rome did not want Hasdrúbal pushed away. It wanted Hasdrúbal ended. The battle begins with contact and grinding pressure. Hasdrúbal's army was not weak. It had marched far and arrived believing it carried the war's winning move. But Rome fought with concentrated purpose and disciplined cohesion. Rome wanted the kind of fight where cohesion decides everything. Because once cohesion breaks, destruction becomes possible. Massacres in ancient warfare rarely happen during equal clash. They happen after collapse. Rome's goal was to create the route. Pressure finds a seam. A sector bends. Orders become harder to hear. Units retreat in pockets. Pockets become waves. Waves become a flood. Floods create bottlenecks. Retreat through limited space becomes congestion. Congestion becomes panic. Panic becomes collapse. Rome, still organized, pursues in groups, cuts routes, isolates clusters, and turns retreat into annihilation. Hasdrúbal's army is destroyed, not merely defeated, and Hasdrúbal falls with it, ending the northern reinforcement that could have saved Hannibal's campaign. But the story is not finished until Hannibal learns the truth. Wars are won not only by killing armies, but by killing hopes. In the final part, we'll see the aftermath, how the victory changed the war, and why Metauro saved Rome by ending the only realistic path Hannibal had left to win. When Metauro ended, Rome didn't just win a battlefield, it won the war's future. The real victory was that the brothers would never unite. Carthage's plan, two armies becoming one, was dead. Hannibal was still in Italy, still dangerous, but the one scenario that could have ended Rome had been removed. Victory isn't complete until the enemy understands it. Hannibal had been waiting for reinforcement, for reunion, for the moment Rome finally cracked. Then he learned the truth. Hasdrúbal was gone, the northern army destroyed. The future he was waiting for would never come. That moment matters because Hannibal's strategy depended on hope as a strategic engine. The belief that time was on his side. Allies would abandon Rome, and Carthage would reinforce him at scale. Metauro broke that engine. Hannibal was alone again, facing a republic that refused to collapse. He could still hurt Rome, but hurting is not winning. Winning requires options, and Metauro removed the options. From this point onward, Hannibal's position becomes increasingly defensive. He can hold ground, raid, survive. But he cannot force the decisive outcome he needs. Rome's freedom of focus increases. Rome can tighten pressure on Hannibal over time and shift resources elsewhere without fearing a second army behind them. Initiative returns to Rome, and Rome's gamble deserves respect. Rome concentrated force in the north, while keeping Hannibal contained in the south. It relied on speed and deception. It chose the decisive point correctly, not the most famous enemy, but the enemy who was trying to save him. Metauro shows Rome's deeper strength, system resilience. Hannibal had genius, Rome had a machine. The war did not end instantly, but it became structurally different. Carthage lost its last serious attempt to rescue Hannibal's campaign. Hannibal remained dangerous, yet the strategic window closed. Rome didn't need a miracle. It needed to prevent one catastrophe, Hannibal and Hasdrúbal becoming one. At Metauro, Rome stopped it, and in doing so, Rome saved itself.